Hello and welcome to News Hour on Unity TV. Today is Tuesday, 4th of June 2023 and it's equivalent to 16th of Zulhijjah 1444 after Hijrah. The headlines. Insecurity well secure Nigeria, NSA assures. 9 rescued, 11 trapped as 4-story hotel under construction collapses in Abuja. Policewoman, 2 children set ablaze in Anambra. And on the foreign scene, Senegal's Macky Sall rules out controversial third term. And in sport, Gerrard named manager of Saudi side Al Ittifaq. And those were the headlines, and for details and more of the stories, I am Ruqayyat Sani Ibrahim. The National Security Advisor Malam Nuhuru Badu yesterday assured President Bola Tinubu and the entire country that security agencies will accomplish the objective of securing the country as well as re-establish peace and stability. Ribadu was responding to the President's charge that they should work as a team to deliver on the mandate of dealing with the protracted security challenges in the country. His charge came against the backdrop of the insurgency, banditry, kidnapping and other violent crimes that have threatened the corporate existence of the country. Briefing State House correspondents at the end of the President's maiden meeting with the security chiefs at the Presidential Villa Abuja, the NSA said they were there to thank Mr. President for the opportunity he gave them to serve the country and his government, noting that they also pledged their loyalty to him, Nigeria and Nigerians. Apart from the NSA, others in attendance were the Chief of Defense Staff Major General Christopher Musa, Chief of Army Staff Major General Taruddin Lagbaja, Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ogalla, Chief of Air Staff Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, and the Acting IGP Kayode Egbetokun. The Senate is set to resume sitting on Tuesday after the Eid al-Kabir holiday. Newsmen report that as the upper chamber resumes, majority and minority leaders are expected to emerge. While APC is expected to produce the majority leader, deputy majority leader, chief whip and deputy chief whip. The 4 principal positions reserved for the minority caucus are the minority leader, deputy minority leader, minority whip and deputy minority whip, respectively. PDP, being the major opposition party, is expected to produce the minority leader, deputy minority leader, minority whip and deputy minority whip. Findings by newsmen show that the major contenders for the Senate majority leader's seats include Senator Opayemi Bamidele, APC Ekiti, and Senator Muhammad Ndume, APC Borno. Also, Senator Adamu Alero, PDP Kebbi, and Senator Aminu Tambuwal, PDP Sokoto, are contenders for the minority leadership seats. 9 out of 20 persons who were found trapped in the rubble of a 4-story hotel building that collapsed on Monday in Tafe, Life Camp Abuja, have been rescued. The building, which was under construction as of the time of the collapse, is said to be owned by one of the top hotels in the territory. According to the eyewitness at the site, the hotel, which has an underground facility, has no fewer than 20 persons trapped. While emergency respondents and security personnel were on ground for rescue operations, officials of the FCT Emergency Management Agency FEMA said 9 persons have been rescued as of 9 p.m. on Monday. 2 suspected armed robbers and 4 vehicles were burnt in Anambra and Abia State yesterday as residents continued to observe sit at home. Residents of major cities in Enugu and Imo State also stayed home in spite of assurance of their safety by state government. It was gathered that the robbery suspects were attempting to rob tricycle passengers at the Obosi roundabout along the Owerri-Onitsha Road in Idemili North Local Government area, where they met their Waterloo. An eyewitness said the robbers tried to escape but were caught by the mob, who immediately set them ablaze with disused tires and fuel. But in Aba North and South local government areas, suspected members of the Ekpa group of IPOB unleashed mayhem on the residents in the early hours of yesterday. Although there was no reported case of death, the attackers, who wore black attire, burned 4 vehicles and a tricycle in various parts of the councils. A middle-aged woman has been arrested for allegedly setting a policewoman and her 2 children ablaze in Nnokpa, Idemili South Local Government area of Anambra State. A resident of the area who pleaded anonymity said the suspect, Nne Amaka Ngosu, have gone to live with the deceased policewoman shortly after she became homeless and in dire need of accommodation after her husband sent her out of their home. It was gathered that the suspect was apprehended by a local vigilante and some villagers who were attracted by the fire while she was trying to escape. When the vigilante interrogated her, she initially denied the act, claiming it was a case of gas explosion while the deceased and her children were boiling water. Confirming the incident yesterday, Anambra State Police Command's Public Relations Officer Tochukwu Ikenga said suspects confessed that they had a disagreement which resulted in a fight before she hit the woman police on her head with a pistol, and when she became unconscious, the suspect tied her with her 2 kids and set them ablaze. Ikenga said the case had been transferred to the State Investigation Department (CID) for further investigation and prosecution. 2 fishermen, Antonio Sabino and Osario Perez from Neves in Sao Tome and Principe, lost in the Atlantic Ocean for 5 days, have been rescued in Bras local government area of Basa State. The fishermen, who speak Portuguese, were said to have been rescued by a trawler fishing in the Gulf of Guinea and handed over to fishermen from Okwama, Bras, who took them ashore. Chairman of the Okwama Kingdom Security Committee, Chief Munalayefa William Sintay, said the highly malnourished men were clothed and fed before they were handed over to the police for necessary actions. Spokesman for the police command, Asinim Butswat, yesterday said the Divisional Police Office of Okwama Division, Bras local government area Basa State, had taken custody of 2 fishermen who were rescued by a captain of a fishing trawler at 50 nautical miles off the Atlantic Ocean on July 2, 2023. No less than 5 persons have been killed and 11 others injured after suspected terrorists fired a rocket-propelled grenade at a town in Borno State. 2 anti-terrorist commanders told AFP on Sunday that scores of fighters attempted to invade the town of Damboa late on Friday, but met stiff resistance from the paramilitary outfit that works alongside the armed forces. Babakura Kolo, a military leader in the region, said out of desperation the insurgents fired a rocket-propelled grenade on the town from a distance, which killed 5 people and injured 11 others. The 5 dead victims were buried on Saturday, while the injured were flown to the regional capital, Maiduguri, aboard a helicopter for medical attention, said Ibrahim Liman, a second military commander. The army, whose troops were in the town guarding the military base, did not immediately respond to a call seeking comments. And on the foreign scene, Senegal's President Macky Sall on Sunday ended months of tense uncertainty by saying he will not seek a 3rd term next year, clearing the way for open elections in the West African nation, long considered a bastion of democracy in a troubled region. Sall had until now remained coy about his ambitions, stoking tensions over whether he would use a constitutional revision to argue he could extend the country's traditional 2-term maximum. On the eve of Sall's nationwide address, his fiercest critic, Ousmane Sonko, had urged the public to come out en masse and oppose him. Deadly clashes erupted last month between Sonko supporters and the security forces, claiming at least 16 lives. The turbulence tarnished Senegalese image as a beacon of stability in West Africa, a region notorious for coup and civil war. The International Committee of the Red Cross has facilitated the release of 125 soldiers of the Sudanese Armed Forces held by the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) in its role as neutral intermediary and following a request by the parties to the conflict. ICRC teams transported the released soldiers, including 44 wounded soldiers, by bus from Khartoum to Wad Madani. Jean-Christophe Sandos, ICR's head of delegation in Sudan, said these positive steps means that families will be celebrating with their loved ones, adding that ICRC stands ready to act as a neutral intermediary for the release of detainees from all sides to the conflict whenever requested. On 26th of June, the ICRC also facilitated the release of 14 wounded people detained in Al-Fashir, Darfur. The ICRC has been working with the parties to the conflict for the evacuation of people wounded by weapons. Through its dialogue with all parties to the conflict, the ICRC's role is to ensure that humanitarian principles are respected and that detainees are treated with humanity throughout the release and transfer process. ICRC teams also assess the health of the detainees and confirm that they were fit to travel. And in sports, former England and Liverpool midfielder Steven Gerrard have been named manager of Saudi Arabian side Al-Ittifaq. The 43-year-old has said in June he have been invited over to the country to look at a potential offer, but that he will not be taking it up. Gerrard have been out of work since being sacked as Aston Villa manager in October last year. Al-Ittifaq were 7th in the 16-team Saudi Pro League last season, finishing 35 points behind champions Al-Ittihad. The Saudi club And with the sport news, we've come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at TUNTBE Radio FM TV, respectively. You can also watch us live on the satellite decoder Sat, which has been watched in about 38 countries of the world free. You can also follow and engage with us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at TUNTBE Radio FM TV, respectively. I am Ruqayyat Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have yourself a lovely day.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.